Welcome, friends. Hi, how are you, friends? Thank you so much for being a friend. So, I have my tea beside me, cooling, ready to sip. And, Tenor Ballet. Hi, that's me. All right, friend. So, when you came by and checked out my video, I was like, hey, friend. You said, hey, friend. I was like, oh, hey, friend. I was like, oh, my goodness. I need to tell my friend that I have some movie recommendations I've been holding on to. And I need to remind you that they're there. You can check them out. Just like I did with the previous recommendations. I was like, since I reminded you guys of the other movies, I can remind you of these because I think about uh, at least one of these that I'm about to tell you about. I think about them like every single time that I use creamer. And actually, I did an update. If you are on the social medias that I'm on, then you've seen that I have shared them recently, just uh, yeah, before this live stream. So I shared them earlier this week, and now I'm bringing them to you verbally. So if you are like looking for some more cool movies to watch, like maybe spooky but not so spooky, okay? Maybe spooky but not so spooky because you might not be into the so spooky. If you hadn't seen it, let me know if you hadn't seen them. So I'm gonna give you two not so spooky but spooky. They cool, they on the level, they kind of spooky, but not to the point where it's horror. I don't think it's considered horror. I didn't even look at the genre. Uh, and then there's one that's a comedy. I think it's a comedy. Yeah, it's one that's a comedy, and then there's two that are like has some interesting elements going on. But I don't think they're considered horror. I don't know what they would be considered because I didn't I just know that they're not horror. Like I know if my friends wasn't into horror, they might would like this because it's a little lighter than horror. Like I said, there's some spookiness going on. Like more like a campfire story. Like these are more like um I kind of want to call them Disney's. But Disney tapping into horror these days. Um, I don't know what like. They're not scary, okay? Like like if you watch, and then some movies seem more scary than others. Like if you watch, what's that one movie that I recommended? Like Human Resources. I would consider that horror. I think that's under the genre of horror. Human Resources with the young man taking the job at the hardware store just before the holidays. I think it was just before Black Friday, or either it was just before Thanksgiving. And he took a job at a hardware store, and it was some things going on at the hardware store. That's human resources. That one is ew. Like if you not into that stuff, don't watch. Let's see. So yeah, human resources. What's another one that I told you guys about? Haunted trails. That's that's a bit of horror. Those are two that are in the horror genre for sure. No doubt about it. Uh, Another one is the Festival of the Dead, which I like, and I listened to my own review of the movie. I had recorded some verbal movie reviews for that movie, and I wound up not uh, sharing them. So I deleted some of the review, but like one of the pieces of review I still have, and I have it as my reminder that my battery is getting low. So whenever my battery gets to 50%, my a clip from my review plays for Festival of the Living Dead. The Festival of the Living Dead, that's in the horror genre. So all the previous movies I spoke about are in the horror genre. The Piper, that's in the horror genre. Um, for sure. Now these few movies, one is a comedy, and, and you can okay. So the one that's a comedy is like likened to like a Freaky Friday, or what's it called? Freaky Friday. The other movie where bodies get switched. um, 17. I think it's called 17, where the grandparents get switched with the teenagers, and then there's 17, or is it called 17 again? I don't know if it's called 17 or 17 again, but yeah. So it's like that. So that movie is called Little, 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 with Gabrielle Union. That's a fun movie. That's a very fun movie. I don't know if I verbally recommended it. I'm always posting what I watch and what I'm reading. So if you up to date with me there, then you get the scoop and you in the loop. So, but yeah, verbally, Little. That's a cool movie. Um, it could be spooky because of what happens. Uh, Gabrielle Union, her character somehow gets turned little. Like she goes, she's a grown woman, and then I think how it happens, like she goes to sleep and then she wakes up little. So yeah, that's kind of like light spooky, right? Okay. Oh my goodness, my tea has cooled down. Not cool, but not hot. Okay. Um, what's another one? Cause I was like, my friend would really like these recommendations. I know they might not be all up into the horror like that. Like they might would like something they can put on around the little ones and just be all right with having their ones. Little is like that. I do like little. Let's see the other one. I do like little, and I like now like what she goes through in school. That could be considered spooky too. Like I like how she stands up for her hair. I like that her hair was out there. I'm like, yes, 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 little one. Um, I like that movie. So yeah, check that movie out if you're looking for something to watch and you don't know what to watch. There you have Little. Let me think. I haven't seen it in a while, but I was recalling some scenes like when she's in class, when she's in school, and she orders Uber Eats as her lunch, so that she doesn't have to eat the school lunch. And then the teacher won't let her eat her Uber Eats order. I'm thinking, I, I'm thinking he wants that order. I'm thinking he's thinking that he should have thought of that first. You know, he should have thought of that for his lunch. I'm thinking he's thinking like, that's a good idea instead of having to eat this lunch. Uh, little now, let me go ahead and tell you the next movie because I had to look it up because I was remembering it incorrectly. I had like the first letter correct and then I had like the middle letter correct, but it wasn't the right it wasn't the right name. So I looked up the right name. Let me do my best to say it correctly here. The next movie I would recommend is called Mr. Harrigan's, and I think that's with two R's. Harringins. Mr. Harrigan's phone. I didn't write anything down yet. I mean, it's coming. Like my mind is like, look, you can't write these things down. But mostly at this, like I'm like top of the dome with this. I already knew what I was bringing to you. I just didn't write it down. I knew I could. Um, but yeah, I'm sitting in the book nook, and the book nook is undergoing some reorganization and things like that. So yeah. So it's called Mr. Harrigan's Phone. It's so good. I didn't know where it was going. I like how it began. And I think I like how it ended. And I've been there. Like I've been there. Like not to the full extent, but I have called numbers of people. Well, I say numbers, but it's only been one person. I've called their number after something happens. So yeah, watch that. Let me know what you think. I didn't know what Mr. Harrigan was up to. Um, So yeah, check that out. And I might need to revisit it because I'm thinking of a scene, and I don't know if it's this movie because it's not fresh in my head. It's just lightly, and I'm thinking of a scene, and I'm thinking it's in this movie, and it's possibly in this movie, but for some reason I kind of want to think that it's in another movie, but it might be all together in this movie. uh, yeah, check that out if you're looking for something to watch. It's called Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Um, it's about a young boy who goes to see if this older fellow needs assistance. And the older fellow has him read to him every day, or however they have it scheduled, the days of the week that the young boy comes to visit Mr. Harrigan. He has the boy read. I think that's how it went. Um, so I've been into reading lately. I do enjoy me some reading movies, some author movies. So yeah, enjoy this Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Um, Anything else? Oh yeah, there's one more. I kind of want to let you know that it kind of does pop off. Like it kind of does pop off. Like it's a bit settled, and then for sort of it kind of does pop out. I don't. Yeah, there is a scene. There is a scene. I don't remember it all the way. I do remember that there's a scene though that pops, like that pop out. Like I was like, oh, because I just didn't know where the movie was going. See, if you watch these movies and you don't have the heads up that I'm giving you here, then you watching it and you watching it pop off. You don't even have the pop off warning. So I was like, oh, like we taking it there. Like it's gone. It's like we boom, it's good. And I was like, whoo, okay. I didn't know where that was gonna go because you don't know what's happening, if something's happening, and then something happens. So then you like, wow. So yeah, there's that movie, Mr. Harrigan's Phone, and then you got Little. which on the comedy side, Mr. Harrigan's Phone. I don't know what the genre is for that. I don't know if it's considered horror. Um, Maybe it is. I don't know. I consider it to be lighter than the other movies that I recommended. But it does have its elements. Um, and it's a good movie. I consider it a good movie. I like it. Um, Now, this one, this movie that I'm about to recommend to you, friend. Are you listening? Are you listening? I think about this movie every time I go to use creamer now. Like, I'm like, why haven't I told my friend about this? Like, why haven't I reminded you about this movie? Like, I don't even know if I told you about this movie. I do know that I posted that, I think, but I don't know if I told you about it. Okay, so here it goes. Because I'm like, why hadn't I told my friend? I mean, if I did tell my friend, I need to be reminding my friend about this movie because I think about this movie almost daily. I don't use creamer like that, but when I do, I think about this movie. Okay, so here we go. It's called Mr. Another Mr. It's called Mr. Midnight. It's called Mr. Midnight, and I'm like, I liked it. I liked it. It kind of had like a, I don't know, cause I kind of want to say Disney, but not really though. It was a little darker than Disney. It has its elements, and then it's some stuff I didn't remember because, okay, the reason why these recommendations that I haven't seen in a while now, I have seen them, but it's been like some years since I've seen them. I don't know when the okay, Little would be the most recent one that I've seen, and I don't know if that's been years too, or if that's just been some months since I've seen Little. That might be going on a year since I've seen Little. Now, Mr. Nightmare. I mean, Mr. Nightmare. A new movie coming out soon that I made up. Okay, not that movie. Mr. Midnight. Mr. Midnight and Mr. Harrigan's Phone. I haven't seen in a while. Like it's been, I don't know, over a year for sure. It's been at least a year, like over a year. And Mr. Nightmare. I mean, oh my goodness, am I making a new movie called Mr. Nightmare? Mr. Midnight. I think about that movie ever since I've seen it. So yeah, it's been over a year that I've seen Mr. Midnight. Um, and okay, so so the reason why these titles are fresh is because I went and I looked them up. I signed up for IMDb, and I've added them to my watch list, and um, so that I can share them with you. And so that's why they're fresh. Because I looked it up so that I can make sure that I share it with my friends. Because you might be looking like, girl, what you over there watching? I know you over there having a good time in your books, but I need something to watch. So here you go. You know, that's how these are fresh, so that I could present them to you. Um, so when I was looking on uh, at the movie, I looked at the trailer, to okay, so I recalled Mr. Harrigan's phone. I was like, yep, I remember that. And then with Little, I recall that. So with Mr. Midnight, I looked at the trailer and I was like, okay, I kind of don't remember that, but I kind of do remember that, but I don't know how they got there, and I don't know how they're getting away from that. Like, I don't recall that. Like, the scene that was playing in the trailer, I was like, I don't remember why they're there. I kind of remember what happens when they're there. Like, that part of the trailer was a bit distant from my memory from the part that I remember every time I use creamer. There's a part in there about creamer, and I recall that every time I use creamer. And I recalled some other things that happened in the movie that I would have liked to have seen. I want to say seen change, but they did all right. You know, I just you think something going a certain way, and then it doesn't, and then you like, oh, and that's how this movie is. It does have a lot going on. Um, it is well done, and it has so much going on to the point where when I was looking at the trailer so I could bring it to you fresh, friend, I was like, I recall that because they was all over the place doing all kinds of things. Like, they were like mystery solvers. They were like on a mission. They were trying to solve stuff. They were here, they were there, they were everywhere trying to solve things. They were like, it was like a what do you call them things? Like a hunt and clue type thing. Uh that's what it seemed like they were on, because like I said, when I watched the trailer I was like, what is this? The part of the movie that I recall was subdued. Like, they were chilling, drinking a hot beverage. I didn't remember them in the place they were in, and why they were there, and what they were there for, and what they were leaving with. But I kind of do remember like what was happening when they were there as I was watching the trailer. Okay, so that's where I am with that. Like, I don't. I think, like I said, like they were hunting for something, like a treasure hunt type of thing. That's what I can think of now. That they were on some type of treasure hunt thing, looking for something. Like, they were trying to discover something, uncover something, undiscover something. They were on a mission. It was a group of children. I want to say a group of kids, a group of children, but they kind of was a group of teenagers. There was a group of teenagers, but I don't know what they were searching for. Like, I don't remember that part. I usually remember the stuff like that, but I guess because I've held on to the part that I do recall, I let go of the other part. So, yeah, I might watch it again. We'll see, because it is some parts. Like, I remember the ending. I remember what happened, like, just before the ending. and what happened before that, and what happened before that. But like, I don't know why, other than they were looking for something, they were hunting something, like a treasure hunt, like they were trying to figure something out. That's all I can gather without watching it further. For now, I know I like it because I think about it. Like every time I go to use creamer, I think about it. So I do like the movie, and I do recommend the movie. And also, like, what happens to characters and how it ends. And like, I do remember those things, and I recommend it for those things. I recommend it for the reason that I remember it every time I use creamer. I remember it. I recommend it for the things I do remember it for. So yeah, they're a group of teenagers, and they're trying to figure out something about a legend or a lore that has something to do with the holiday of some sort, something like that. Like the town celebrates a holiday, or like the town. And now all this is coming from memory. I'm up here like attempting to recall it. I'm recalling like what I do recall. So the town has like a superstition. Everybody in the town has like, okay, so the scene is where I remember it because they do travel or they go somewhere. And okay, so everybody in town, in the business. So we downtown in business. We in the business town. We're where the marketplaces are, and also for houses too, I think. But mostly we're in the town. And so the one store that the uncle has, I think is also his house. I think is also where he lives, perhaps. So everybody in this town, for their stores, they have like a symbol on the outside of their store door, and it's supposed to like ward off evil or ward off the evil eye or something like that. And so everybody does it. Everybody has this symbol by their door, something like that. And then so one of the teenagers has a talk show, and I don't know if he has a talk show prior to, but yeah, or either he creates a talk show because of, but yeah, he has a talk show, and then his talk show gets popular because of the topic, and then also the timing of the holiday coming around or something like that. So he gets popular. He gets popular, and then actually, I think what happens. Okay, I think he creates this facade called Mr. Midnight, where he's kind of under wraps and nobody knows that he's Mr. Midnight. But I think some people know he's Mr. Midnight, like a couple of his friends maybe. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I think he might be hiding it or whatever. So he creates this character named Mr. Midnight. He has like a radio show. It gets popular, and he's feeling himself. He's like, yes, I did it. I'm popular, and his friends are like, um, you need to cool it down. You better slow it down before you lose control. So yeah, but he doesn't want to. He want to keep going on the air and things like that because Mr. Midnight is saying stuff that I don't think he would say, but yeah, he's creating like a facade. And then the facade takes on its own character to where to where they split. I recall that. I'm not exactly sure, but there's also something going on. Excuse me. So there's different elements that's going on. Like there's that, then or in addition to because they kind of they link somehow because of a story. So you got the treasure hunt, you got the radio show, and you have something else going on with the holiday coming up that the townspeople celebrate, and then you have like legends and lores going on, and you got myths and superstitions and superstitions that people believe, and then you find out that like the myths and the superstitions have some reality to them, and you like, oh. So that's why everybody has this symbol on their door, or not on their door, but like it's by their door frame. And on by somebody's door frame, the symbol is like knocked down to the ground and broken. So it's like, whoa, like the protection be tampered with because of that. So that's trying to be found out. It's a good movie. I don't know how long it is, and I might watch it again. I think I do recall like what the treasure hunt was, but not really. Like what was going on. Like they were trying to solve something. Um, I think they had a paper clip, and it was said that this happened, but it was like they went to the site to see what they could see and right the wrong, or to see if it was right. It was something like that. It was like, okay, so something was in the papers, some type of story. Like, yeah. Here it's all coming back to me now. Some type of like newspaper clipping was like, yeah, this bellhop man, this bellhop boy did this, like popped off and off all the employees and stuff like that. When that wasn't the true story, it was like somebody had slipped and tripped and fell down the stairs, and he tried to catch him or something like that. So that's how they wind up over there. Like they were trying to solve some unsolved mystery, and but then there's some other elements to it. Like as they're walking around, they see some things. I don't know what all that was about, but I guess that was like the spirits of the people that were there when everything happened and stuff like that. Excuse me. So yeah, you do get like, wait, I might have to watch it again because I'm kind of recalling it, but at the same time, like I don't know why, other than they were trying to solve something, either solve it or find it. Like they didn't believe the article or something like that. So they went looking for the truth and to maybe free the spirits from being bound to that place because of the lie. I, that's what I can gather from my recollection. Yeah. So yeah, it's been uh, about a year since I seen it. Maybe over a year since I seen that movie. So that was a pretty good recollection. Yeah. That's my movie recommendation. 3 titles. You got Mr. Midnight, which is kind of like a Scooby-Doo type of thing. So yeah, it's like a Scooby-Doo type of thing. So with Scooby-Doo, you got your mysteries, you got your histories, and then you got your. So yeah, that's how that is. It's like a Scooby-Doo. And then how Scooby-Doo is, you got your ghost, is it a ghost, is it a real person? So all of that Scooby-Doo type of stuff. So yeah. Um, so you got Mr. Midnight, Mr. Harrigan's Phone, and Little. Those are the 3 titles. I was like, let me share these with my friend. Let me remind my friend, like, look here, friend. Here's something. If you want to watch those, you can watch those. I might watch Mr. Midnight again, maybe. Because it was kind of chilly. It was kind of chilling. Like, it's kind of like, I say Scooby-Doo, but it's a little more than Scooby-Doo. Like, Scooby-Doo, they be like, aha, it was red herring, or aha, it was the baker. And this one, they kind of do that, but it be real. Like, they do that, but then that ain't them. It's something real. Like, so they gotta find that out. And then one of the teens, they go thinking that they're gonna find it out or whatever, or gonna do that, and then they're in the sunken place. And I'm like, oh heck no, get her out of there. Get her out of there. Spoiler alert. So yeah, it kind of reminded me of kind of like that in between place with the what did I just say? It kind of reminded me of the in between place in Lovecraft. In Lovecraft, there was a kind of like a floating space that they had to get across, but it kind of was like that, but more so like the sunken place. It was more so like the sunken place. Like if you seen Get Out, the movie Get Out, it has a sunken place in there. So I'm like, oh no, get her out of there, get her out of there, get out. Oh my goodness. So thought my friend would enjoy those titles like I did and do. Let's see. Okay. I did start uh, Out There Screaming by a lot of authors. Saying also by Jordan Peele. I did start that. And the first story, I thought I read it somewhere. Either read it or saw it. Either saw it as a movie or read it. So I'm like looking for it as a movie to see if I saw it like I did before. So I don't know if that story, maybe that story was in another book, because this book is a compilation of stories. So it's possible that that story could have been in another book. Um, let's see. There let's see. I kind of wanted, I think Lovecraft was mentioned in this book. I think it was. I'm not finished with the book yet. It seems longer than the other Jordan Peele book that I just finished reading last month, called titled did I just finish that book last month or this month? This month, earlier this month, on the 1st, I think. Did I finish it? Okay. What's the book title? I just told you guys about it. You guys know the title. Okay, so I'm reading Out There Screaming. And not too long ago, finished reading. Okay, so the movies that I brought to you were on the top of my list to share to you. the title of that book was not on the top of my list to share. All These Sunken Souls. That's the title of the book. All These Sunken Souls. Now, All These Sunken Souls was shorter than this book. This book that I'm reading now. They're both said to be by Jordan Peele. They are an anthology book. They have several different authors. All These Sunken Souls, those stories popped off. Like, those stories seem to be a speedier pace, maybe even shorter, because it was a shorter book, it seems. Because I read that book in like almost like a night. Less than 24 hours. I read that book less than 24 hours. It wasn't all at one time, but it was like night, and then I think I finished it the next day. Maybe. I might have finished it that night. After starting it during the day. So it was a real quick read. These stories might seem like they're longer. Each story does seem like they are longer. Um, which is fine. It's they seem slower paced. Um, I'm not finished reading it yet. Um, I did read the story about the two freedom fighters that got uh, that were on the long stretch road. That was one of the stories that was pointed out on the description. I did read that story, and it was it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. Like I thought they were gonna okay, the way it was sounding, because I likened it to Lovecraft. I thought they was gonna meet the shagoffs with the eyes and the mole rat peoples, um, that were in the series, uh, Lovecraft Country. I thought they were gonna meet some shagoffs, um, but they didn't. They met their own type of creature. Like we found we were introduced in this story in that book. We were introduced to some newfound fangled things, some newfound fangled creatures. So I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, where is this going? Where is it going? Like, what is he? What's good, girl? Like, how we gonna get up out of here? Whew. So yeah, I have read that story. Now I'm on a different story. Um, so yeah, the stories are a bit longer and slower. It seems that's what it seemed like. From all these sunken souls, which is fine. It's fine. I'm not in a rush to finish reading it. Um, I actually had to stop reading it. Like one of them stories was like, "Ooh, wait, what? Like, what's gonna happen?" I had to calm my nerves. I had to calm down. I was like, "Okay, calm down, calm down." I was shaking my hands. I had my hands up to my head. I was like, "What?" And then the so I'm reading it, and then it it goes where it goes, and it ends where it ends, and I'm like, okay. I was like, I was like, I was like, okay, there. I need to set it down. Let me set it down. Let me take a breath, get some water, something like. I was like, whew, that story there. Cause they ain't know what to do. I ain't know what to do. I was like, what could y'all do? So yeah, I don't, I don't. I'm trying to think. I don't recall what the name of that story is at the moment. Like, wait, okay, so that story I just told you guys about. That's in this book that I'm reading now, called Somewhere Out There Screaming. Now, all these sunken souls, the titles I could recall. I don't know if it's because the stories were shorter, or and the titles kind of related to each other. Like titles were called Teeth. The other one was called Teeth and something else. Well, it wasn't called Teeth and something else, but it had like teeth in the title. So it was like I could recall them when I was reading them, but this book here, I don't necessarily remember like the titles. I would have to go back and look at the titles. Like I'm just reading it. I'm just reading. I'm just like the story is storying. Like never mind the title. Listen to the story. Like read it, girl. So I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, brava, brava. Like you did your thing on that story. All these sunken songs, they did their thing too. It's just they a bit they all different. They all are different. They all bringing it. They bringing it. So yeah, if you want to read some, uh, I don't even know the genre of this book. It was on a recommendation called Spooky Books, which I did share on the community tab. Uh, so yeah, that's how I started reading it. I also went to look for a book today or yesterday, and I'm trying to remember what that book was that I was looking for. Oh, it's called A Season of Spells. I do have the book on hand. I have book 3. It is a I was mentioning this a little bit in a previous live stream, but I didn't have the title because I didn't have the book on hand. But yeah, as I'm straightening up and organizing the book nook, I came across it and it's called A Season of Spells, and it's by her first name I think starts with an S. Her middle name is Izzo, Izzo, and her last name is Hunter. And I was looking for the digital of the book and information because I was like, there was a reason why I didn't read this book. Like I got the book and then I realized it was some other books. So I have book 3, and the book 3 is A Season of Spells. The second book is, oh boy, Magic Queen. And then the first book is, I don't know. And I might have gotten that mixed up. Maybe book 1 is Magic Queen and book 2 is something else. But yeah, I have book 3. And I'm like, I would like to read it. So I'm like, I looked it up to see if I could get the first season. I mean, the first book, second book, get the third book on digital or audio. And um, I was wondering, since I do have book 3 on hand, is book 3 a standalone? Like, are these standalone books to where I can read book 3 and be good? Like, does book 3 recap? Does it continue and be the robustness that a book 3 is? Because when I was reading Queen of Hearts, book 1 and book 3 were the Sesame Seed Bud. And then book 2 was the all beef patty, lettuce, cheese, tomato. Like, you couldn't have one without the other. Like, it was a excellent prepared deli sandwich. Like, that's why I haven't read it yet. So it's sitting here, and I'm like, what am I gonna miss not reading book 1 and book 2? And I read book 3, and I get the pop off, but I didn't get the book 1 and book 2. So it's kind of like with Powerless and Reckless. Like, I kind of feel like I could have went on ahead and read Reckless because they kind of was going back and forth, and I could see what happened reading Reckless. But when I did put down Reckless, picked up Powerless, started reading Powerless, I am enjoying it. Like, I got to see the story from the beginning, and it's a different feeling. Like, Powerless is a different feeling from Reckless. Like, Reckless is doom and gloom, and then I'm reading Powerless after I've started Reckless, and I see like the character. Spoiler alert: the character does survive that I'm wondering about, and I'm reading Powerless, and she gotta be all right because she in Reckless, but I'm over here in the book Powerless, wondering about how she gonna pull through. Like, Powerless is a cool book. I'm liking it. I had some smiles, some laughs. I'm able to see uh, the beginnings of the relationship, so I am liking it. So I like that I learned that I needed to, or that Powerless is book 1 and Reckless is book 2, because I kind of was getting tired of Reckless. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, back and forth. But now I see they have a relationship. Like, I could see that they had a relationship in Reckless, but I see where it began and how it began in Powerless. So that could be like the same thing with this book 3. And I don't know, do I read book 3? Do I wait? Do I read book 1 and 2? So yeah, I was looking up the book to get the books so I can read them in order. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, that's the book that I was asking you guys about and letting you guys know. It's called A Season of Spells, and it's about like it's about a school. It's about some students and some wizards, and that's what I know. I looked it up. I see that there are some reviews. I kind of didn't want to listen to the rest of the reviews because the reviews were like, if you hadn't read it and you don't want to be spoiled, I was like, girl, I want to be spoiled, but I don't want to hear the rest about the book. I don't guess. I'm trying to wait. So yeah, I didn't finish listening to the book. review. Oh, oh boy. I did start reading a book called The 7-Day Apple Cider Vinegar Cleanse. I started reading that last night. It's a shorter book. Reading it to see what that information be like. Are some meal plans at the end of the book. It's telling you about that cleanse, what it's good for, how to use it, how to work it, and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I just that was like in the moment book. I didn't plan on reading that book. I didn't have that book on my wish list. I didn't have that book on standby. Okay, so what had happened was I am reconstructing the book nook, and I came across a couple of books that I had in the book nook. And those two books that prompt me to reading the 7-Day Apple Cider Vinegar Cleanse. I don't know exactly why it became that specific, but it did. Was these two books that I have. It's a detox book and it's a juicing book. And I have those in the book nook. And then I started reading the 7-Day Apple Cider Vinegar Cleanse. Just like right there, like cleaning out the book nook to reading a book. How can you design a book nook without reading a book? Huh? I don't know. So yeah, that's what I did. Sat down with a book while on break from constructing the book nook and started reading a book. I did finish The Next Best Fling. And I also did a review for it. On the spot review. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even give it much thought. I just was like, I like this, I like that. I didn't give it much thought. Like I haven't for the like after I read the books on the application, or after I pressed that I finished reading the books on the applications, I kind of wasn't doing the reviews, but I like how I share the reviews in the book club. So that's where I'm with sharing. So it's almost kind of like your review is like you standing up in front of the book club and sharing. So it's kind of like, and then like when I'm on my blog, I'm like, so I just noticed that like, okay, like perhaps I just give platform like my same consideration. Like I did it. Like Okay, so I went from not writing a review to writing what I did like about the book, what I wanted to say I liked about the book. So, yay! That was a goal of mine, an intention of mine that I wanted to expound upon this month with my book club and getting involved in my book club. So I have stepped up in my book club and participated and shared my thoughts. When I remembered to, I did. I made it a initiation. I took the initiation to share in the book club with that book, and also if we were villains, that book, and Harry Potter. No, Hunger Games. Hunger Games. So I have done those things that I said I was working on this month, getting acclimated to the book clubs that I'm in. So yeah, got that. Working on that. That's going well. Yeah, friend. So we got the book clubs, we got the books. I've given you the movie recommends. Let's check in. Oh, I meant to get into the chat so that I could be in the chat, but I didn't. Let me check. Have you changed your wallpaper for your phones and devices? Do you change your wallpaper and on your phones and devices? I've changed mine. I changed mine for autumn. And then now I've changed mine for winter. I still have my wallpaper that I changed from my phone because it's cohesive with the autumn and winter. It's a pile of books on my phone. My phone wallpaper is a pile of books with a teacup mug, with a mug and a saucer on top of the pile of books. Like I am in this live stream. Well, my teacup is not sitting on the pile of books because I don't have my saucer on there. But yeah, no, I don't have that. It's on the phone. It's not in real life. I do have my mug, but I don't have it sitting on a pile of books. Oh no. Okay, I was trying to get to the chat. Okay. And then my device wallpaper is a notebook. A notebook? A reading nook. Also, friend, if you want to, which I have been doing, so to give you something else, if you want something else, okay, if you want something else, you're like, give me some more, girl, give me some more. I do watch movie reviews and Twitch live streams and EOM reacts, movie reviews. I've been enjoying his movie reviews. And what I just watched? I just watched S SLK SLK movie reaction of Scream 2. And Scream 2 kind of reminds me of the book I just read in the book club called If We Were Villains. So If We Were Villains, they were theater students. The theater was a big chunk of their attention in college. And Scream 2 kinda, well, Scream 2 does have the stage, they have the play, and that's about it. They had the stage and they had the play. And when I saw Scream 2 with the stage and the play, and then you had the boyfriend, I think that was the boyfriend. I don't think that was Mickey. I think that was the boyfriend coming up to Sid. When she went backstage, he went to check on her. I was like, okay, I could see this being the book I just read called If We Were Villains, because of the similar elements, which are the stage and the play. Those are the two, and the stage, the play, and they're in college. Okay, so those are the three things that they have in common. Also, I could see James being, I almost wanted to say James being Mickey, which he possibly could be. He either could be Mickey or he could be the boyfriend. I could see James playing one of those parts, because If We Were Villains, James popped off. He popped off a couple of times. One time we didn't see it, and then the second time he was telling us that he popped off. So I could see him being in Scream. I could see Scream coming from the book If We Were Villains. I don't know which one came first. But I could see Scream coming from If We Were Villains and being expounded upon, because it's not the same story at all. It just got some similar elements, some similar ideas, but not really. It just when I saw Scream 2 and I saw that they were on the stage, they was having to play, I was like, oh, I just read a book called If We're Villains, and those characters was on stage and they were in a play. So really, that's kind of how that's going. And I'm just imagining, maybe hey, I think these characters in this book could fit the characters in this movie. So yeah, that's kind of how that was going. Which is that. So yeah. Um, yeah. Anything? Oh yeah. Wait. Okay. So I was looking up a season of spells, and when I did, I didn't locate that book, but I located some other titles. Bum, bum, bum. So I put them on my wish list. And one of those titles were uh, a Sabrina book. A Sabrina book one. I don't recall the whole title. It's kind of a long title. But yeah, it said Sabrina, and it said book one, and I was like, ooh. I do like Sabrina, so I put that on my wish list. And then another title that I saw and put on my wish list was Witchy Walking in a Witchy Wonderland or something like that. I think it said Walking in a Witchy Wonderland. I think that's what it said, because it was kind of like Winter Wonderland, but I think it said witchy, not winter. And I was like, oh, okay. So I put that on my wish list. I was like, let's see what that's about. And then, so that was Sabrina, then that one, and then it was some title like something First Frost or something like that. I think it's called First Frost. So I was like, that sounds interesting. So yeah, I added some titles that I may or may not have heard of, just because of the titles. And I just thought that they could be interessante, so I put them on my reading list to check out for later. I think I added a couple of more books, like something about being a witch and something like that. So those are the titles that came up when I went looking for A Season of Spells, that book, to see what book it was. So yeah, I added some titles to my wish list. And I also attempted to crochet yesterday. I was looking for my yarn. I didn't know my yarn was so out of place. Like, I have this one, I thought I had 2 pounds of love yarn, and I had an idea for it. I was gonna create a cardigan with them. When you use 2 strands of yarn. So the cardigan that I was gonna start crocheting yesterday was from the pattern that I have used previously, like 1, 2, 3 times now. So I was gonna use that same pattern, and with worsted rate, the pattern calls for 2 strands. So I was gonna use my 2 pounds of love skeins for the cardigan, and I was gonna make it long, flowing, like maybe down to my calves. That's why I needed to, or that's why I was felt like I needed to use the both skeins. So I went to I chose the hook that I was gonna use the day before yesterday. Had that sitting out. So went to get the yarn out and I see one skein and I have moved around my yarns just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. I didn't think it was gonna make this much of a difference that I move my yarns around a wee bit because, like I told you before, my yarn stash is the focal point of the book nook. I'm adding books to my yarn stash on the shelves. So, like, I have crochet books, knitting books, quilting books, along with there's a book that has yarn crafts in it. Also, I have some tarot books up there. I have like tarot cards and oracle cards on the bookshelf. So when I went to get the 2 pounds of yarn, the 2 pounds of love skeins, the 2 skeins, I only see one. And I'm like, what? Where's the other? Before I move things around, getting things organized, putting likes with likes and projects with projects, that skein sat right there. Now it's not sitting right there. Now I'm like, okay, where is it? Where is it? So, yeah. Looking for that, I have pulled out things so that I can further organize things, get rid of things, put things where they need to go, box books up so that I can get them shipped off, like read exchange the books that I have on the shelves with the books I have in the boxes. So yeah, it's really just furthering me along the list that I intend on completing. So that's what happened today or yesterday. So yeah, it's just really just clarifying and moving right along on schedule. Here we are. We're on the path to these things that I have set before me, to see done, to have a wonderful book nook goings on. So that's what I have in progress. So there's a few more things out and about because there's some things that are going to get swapped out and shipped off. And, so yeah, so we're in progress. Where am I? Let me think. Okay, there I am. So yeah, we're in progress. It's not just crochet over here. Yeah, so that's just the start. Oh, but I'm like, my yarn. So yeah. What is this? Oh, so I do have some yarn items I think I'll be transferring to a bins. Uh, there are some yarn items I would like to show you all that I don't think you guys seen yet. Um, I have a, and then I thought I put a specific yarn item in the bins already, so I got to make sure. But I didn't see it in the bins earlier today when I looked in the bins for the yarn that I knew it wasn't there. I do have another pink yarn for another pink skein for Cluff Fairy. I did tell you guys that I was lining up for me to make a Cluff Fairy, and yeah, I located another skein of the same pink. Yeah, yeah. So I got the same pink. I don't have to create a new Cluff Fairy color. uh, um, and what else I wanted to share with you guys? So I have that another skein of the Cluff Fairy color. It was something else. Was that it? Another skein of the Cluff Fairy color. So yeah, that happened because I was looking for the other skein to create the cardigan. I didn't know I had another pink. I thought I used up all my pink that was that same color pink as the Club Fairy. So I thought I had to use the other color, which is like a little darker color, like maybe like the Club Fairy cheeks, because the Club Fairy cheeks are like a little darker pink. So I thought I was gonna have to use that, and I was like, well, how am I gonna use that? But yeah, like I didn't know if I'm gonna use it for the limbs or the body or the head. So yeah, now I have congruent colors for all the body parts of the Club Fairy. I may be able to create that cardigan with this 1 pound of love, utilizing both ends of the yarn. I don't know how long it's gonna be if I can make it like to my calves with the 2 pound of love. Um, so far, the cardigans that I have made, um, the Barnett cardigans that I've made have utilized, well, the most recent one. The most recent one utilized 4 skeins of yarn, and I think those are like they were on the bigger side of skeins. Um, let's see, and then the other two worsted weights, they were I don't I used maybe 4 skeins of the worsted weight. I did have some left though. I did have some left over. But what I do have left over is not going to reach to my calves. So I could start the cardigan with the 1 pound, but if you have 2 skeins, it's best if you're going to use 2 strands to use 2 skeins so that you can keep your yarn straight. And speaking of yarn straight, I may have to invest in a skein holder to keep my yarn straight even further. Uh, so yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna create the Club Fairy now or the Susan. What's her name? Sally. The Sally scarf. I may create more than one Sally scarf. I thought I had some metallic maroon, but that hasn't come up. I do have some metallic teal. I do have a regular maroon, or what is it called? Mulberry. I thought I had a metallic maroon, but yeah. So I'm thinking I'm going to create more than one scarf, more than one Sally scarf to share with my friends, perhaps. Uh, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what's going on. My head is like, doo, 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 like get that on the way. And then I was like, okay, so which one did I want to start? I wanted to start the cardigan because it kind of was getting a little nippy. And then it's good to have, the cardigans when it's cold. So I wanted to work on that first. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to put away some books. And maybe the skein will pop up after I put away some books. So it's like, okay, uh, it's it's a whole theatrical process right at this moment. It's not a straightforward get some yarn and make something. It's a like get some yarn and then put away some books and then organize this and then organize that. It's real spicy up in here right now with a bunch of different ingredients going on. We got the yarns, we got the books, and we got yarns and books. So that we doing my best to organize them and categorize them. And I've been archiving the books, so that's been a good thing. I had some books that weren't with the books that needed to go with the books. So now that I've unsheathed them, I'm able to put them with the books. I've categorized them, so now they can go where the books are. And yeah, it's all in the day's work. It's all in the plan. It's all in the plan. It ain't just one thing. It's all the things. So that's been fun to see how things are um, spilling out. I had a whole bins of stuff just spill out on me, and then I was like, "Oh no!" And then um, while I was like, "Well, I get to now see through all the bins items, and I see what's in there, and there's some things that I didn't know was in there that now I can take out and put in the craft section with the amongst the craft items. And so yeah, there's a lot of organization going on. uh, so hey, when stuff spill out, it's just allowing you to see what's all is there, so you can organize them accordingly and get rid of the things that you need to get rid of, organize the things you need to get organized with. And that's what I'm doing. I love my library. I have a library scanner. I have a book library scanner, and I was able to scan my movies, archive my DVDs, my books, um, and all of that prompted me to reading the 7 Day Apple Cider Vinegar. So it all works hand in hand, guys. Everything is coordinated together. So yeah, and then I was able to see that book I was trying to tell you guys about that I didn't remember the title. It's called A Season of Spells. And then when I looked that up, I was able to see the book by Sabrina that I do love. And hold on, while I'm bringing back up Sabrina, if you guys want to see some good spooky seasonal spooky stuff, go watch The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Okay? Let me remind you guys that Sabrina is sitting there waiting to either be revisited, rewatched, re-enjoyed, whether it's your first time, your second time. I think I saw it twice. I'm not exactly sure. I think I did. Yeah. I watched it at least twice. I might have watched it 3 times. I like Sabrina. So yeah, if you want to watch a series, Sabrina is a series, and you want to watch something spooky, something scary, something cool, something Sabrina, then you can watch The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I think that's what it's called, the title. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I think that's what it's called. So yeah, you can watch that. That's really, I think it's under horror. I don't know. I don't know the PGs. I don't know the AGs. I don't know what it's rated. But I thought it was gross. Okay, I thought it was gross. I was like, oh my goodness, Sabrina was gross. Not necessarily herself was gross, but the shows. Like, there are some episodes that are grosser than some episodes. There are some episodes that are fun and funny. There are some spooky elements to some episodes, and then there are some gross episodes, and then there are some chill laid back episodes. There are some touching episodes. It's got it going on. Like, it got a bunch of stuff going on in the different episodes that are cool. Like, it's I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know if you want to call it it's a bunch. It's a lot. It's different. It's chilled. It's gory. It's spooky. It's I liked it. I watched it about 3 or 4 times already. Like, when it first came out, I was looking for the comic books, and I was reading the comic books. So yeah, Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, it's been out for some years now. So yeah, I was reading the comic books when the comic books was coming out, and I just saw the book 1 of whatever this Sabrina is here. I just saw that yesterday. I just added that, and yeah, enjoying reading and watching and life lessons, and yeah. Let me know how you like the recommendations. I've recommended movies, books, channels, movie reviews, movie reactions. So let me know if you need me to send you any links or things, or if you need any updates or recaps. You can rewatch the live stream. Please hold. All right. I think. I think. Okay. So I told you guys about the juicing book, the detox book, the movie that I scanned. I didn't tell you that. I do have right here on hand the complete collection. It says the complete collected poems of Maya Angelou. This is one of the items that I uncovered today, along with the other books that I mentioned earlier. I had to get this. I felt to add to my collection. So if you're looking for something to read, something to have, something to hold, I recommend this book. Also, I recommend her Phenomenal Woman book. I felt like I had to have both of them. So I do have her Phenomenal Woman. I think that's what it's titled. I have that in actually I have it right here. Hold on, let's see. Because things are out and about. I have it handy. So you got Maya Angelou's completed collection of poems. And let's see. I try and keep just FYI, I added a couple of knitting books to my shelf. I try and keep that Phenomenal Woman books in my crafting bag. I don't see it right now. Oh, I was keeping it in my crafting bag. Where I keep my knitting patterns, my crochet patterns, and I must have moved it, I guess. Um, I was keeping it in this bag with my knitting. I have a bag here with a couple of one catalog and some crochet and knitting patterns. And I haven't archived them because they're not considered books, or they're not scanning as books. They're the little books that you get with those I taught myself to ... kits. So I have some. I taught myself to crochet. I taught myself to knit. I have some of those patterns. And to add them to my library, I would have to manually add them. And I haven't done that yet because it's over 2 of them. I need to make a session of adding the books manually. I did add a book manually today just because it was one book, but if it's more than 2 books, I'm thinking I need to make a session of that. And I really just was scanning the books, scanning the books that I can scan because that's quicker. Manually putting in the books takes a few more minutes. And I guess I have taken that book out. I did have it amongst my knitting and crochet books. Let's see. It possibly is. I have that area blocked right now. So yeah, there's a lot of at the moment. Where it kind of wasn't, it kind of more stuff was out of the way and some clear paths, but right now some things are pulled out. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's called Phenomenal Woman. Specifically, it does have the phenomenal poem along with some other woman poems in the phenomenal book. So yeah, the phenomenal woman book, it has like 4 poems specifically woman titled or woman as the subject of the poem. So that's why I like that book and putting it amongst my crafting items for inspiration and motivation. That's where that's why I had it amongst my crafting items. I may have moved it when I scanned it recently. I may have moved it amongst the other books. That's what it's looking like because that book has been amongst my crafting items for years. And I must have moved it after I scanned it. Because now the only thing in the bag here is like stuff that has to be manually added to the book archive. So yeah, I got a whole bag of books that need to be manually added, manually archived. Yeah, so that's what's going on. I do have some more books I get to archive because I love archiving the books. I love when they scan automatically. Like, I don't know. Like maybe my sound is off, but I don't. Maybe it beat, but I do like that sound. That beat. I didn't. It kind of didn't stand out to me this time. I don't know. Maybe because after my 90 91 90 90th item that I've scanned, maybe I don't hear the beep as loud as I do anymore. It's like beep. I do like when it's in the database though. When I see it in the database, I'm like, yeah. Inserting the books manually, uh, it just take a couple of more steps, a couple of more uh, uh, Yeah, a couple of more steps just to simplify it. Takes a couple of more steps. Take a little bit of researching, a little bit of space. When that book scanned and it's beep, that's it. Like it's in there. I'm like, oh, sound like that's so cool. When you have to manually put the book in, it's like, okay. Like, okay. Okay, like, okay, here we go. Because I have done it. It's fine. It takes a little more. Just take a wee bit more. Um, my tea is gone. I was able to drink it all before it got cool. It was all. It was like it was getting cool. It was getting cool. So yeah, I got some Sally. Got the Sally scarf yarns together. And I thought I was going to be able to uncover that yarn easier than, I don't know what this is. Like, I thought that yarn was going to pop up because I have seen that yarn and I have moved that yarn around, that specific big 2 pound of skein yarn. I have moved it around. And then I moved it around, and then remember I was saying that I had to move around the caddy. I've moved the caddy. At first, before I moved the caddy, I had the yarn sitting right there, right on top of the caddy. But I moved the yarn because I knew I was gonna move the caddy. And then I moved the yarn to my chair, and then I was like, okay, that's not a good place. And then I thought I put the yarn in my other bag where I'm keeping like miscellaneous yarn skeins that I've used for other projects. I thought I had it in there because I I was I thought I had to use it for remember the cardigan I made, the Killer Clowns from Outer Space inspired cardigan that I created. I thought I was gonna have to use it for that, but I didn't. I had enough pink. I had discovered some more pink yarn, so I was able to go all the way with the pink yarn and not have to use that. So that's when I had the yarn down, I think, or was it a whole nother skein? Maybe it was a whole nother skein. I took a picture of it and I posted it and I showed you. I was like, I think I might have to use this color yarn for the Killer Clowns and Outer Space inspired cardigan. But I didn't have to. So yeah, I did discover some more yarn. It's different though. Like I was like, okay. So I have yarn here, I have yarn there. I have some finished projects I would like to show you all. Specifically a winter vest. I don't know what you want to call it. I saw it I saw it. I'm trying to think where I saw it at. Like I saw it maybe in a magazine or in a pattern or something. And then I created my own. But I didn't get to show you all it. And it kind of reminds me of like something from Game of Thrones. And I was telling you guys about it, but I don't think you saw it. So it's kind of like something that like the Snow Queen would wear or something to that effect. Like it's like a vest type of wrap. A wrap vest for the winter. And I thought I had it in the bins, but it's not in the bins, or it didn't look like it was in the bins. So yeah. What is in the bins that I did see, because when I went in the bins, I wasn't looking for sweater vest, and then I see these other crochet projects and knitting projects that I've created that was supposed to go in the bins. So I'm like, why are they not in the bins? And I thought it was because some other crochet projects were in there. But when I went in the bins, like the only crochet project that I saw was the first doll dress. No, that actually wasn't the first doll dress I made. Well, actually, it was the first crochet doll dress I made. I have made a loom knitted doll dress, some loom knitted doll outfit. So that was the first crochet dress that I made. I see that in the bins, and I'm like, okay, so do I take that out and put that with the other crochet items, or do I put the other crochet items in the bins? So that's where I'm at with that. Like, do I take that one item out and put it amongst the crochet items? But it's looking like I need to revamp the bins. I need to visit the bins, then revamp the bins and see what's all in the bins, get the bins, and put the items knitted and crocheted, put those in the bins. And I would like to unsheath my Game of Thrones inspired vest so I can show it to you. Like, what? I crocheted that. No, did I crochet it or knit it? I think I crocheted it. I don't know what I did. I don't have it on hand to actually see it, but I think I crocheted it. I did use big chunky yarn. So yeah, I'm looking forward to discovering that so that I can show you, because I have my buddy over there. I put all my cardigans on my buddy, or I put on, and my buddy mannequin. I put all my cardigans and vests on my buddy right now. Those won't be able to fit in the bins. Those will probably take up the whole space in the bins. The cardigans and vests. But I do have some scarves and cowls and shawls that would go in the bins. And maybe even my looms maybe would fit in the bins. Maybe, because this one loom, the loops and threads, what's it called? Loops and threads 8? Loop 8. I don't know what the thing is called. It's loops and threads, the I don't know why, but I want to call it the Crazy 8. The Crazy 8 loom. It's shaped like an 8. That might be too big for the bins. It is a smaller bins. I have to actually try it and see if it fits. It might. I think it's like just too big. Like, yeah. So maybe the bins. The bins was supposed to be for my crochet items, but yeah, I'm trying to fit my loom in there too. Or my knitted, the things I've completed. Oh. So that's how it's looking at the moment. That's the update. Also, I did take a look at episode 2 of season 7, and I don't guess I saw that episode. Like I said, I had put the first few episodes on while I was designing the book nook, so I had it on like background noise. So I think I really started watching season 7 during like episode 4 or 5. So I put on episode 2, and I was like, I don't recall seeing this. So yeah, they cute. They so pretty and cute. For season 7, everybody's so beautiful. I didn't finish that episode. I did turn it off so that I can chop work on what's in front of me without the background noise. No background noise. So yeah, I didn't watch a whole episode. I just watched the beginning and then turned it off. Let me know what you guys are up to. I do have a yarn project in a suitcase, and I'm thinking I need to take out that yarn project and maybe put it in a project bag, because I'm doing my best to keep all the yarns together, put all the yarns with the yarns, put all the finished products with the finished product. What did I just say? All the yarn products, all the yarn projects that are completed, like all the crochet projects that I've crocheted, all the knitting that I've completed, put those all together. Put the books together, except for the yarn and the books that I'm putting together. So it's some yarns and some books are gonna be put together, or they're gonna be together displayed. They're gonna be displayed together. And then the books are going to be stored with the books. The yarns are going to be stored with the yarns. But then when it comes to display, they're going to be displayed together. All right, friend. It was nice chatting with you. Thank you for the thumbs up, friend. Thank you. For your support. Till next time, friend. Toodaloo.